Welcome, everybody. We've got a guest here, and everybody's so excited. There's 100 people in chat already because of how much they love the Timberwolves and are ready to talk about an exciting loss.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Gerald's already here. Oh, boy. No joke, boys. I'm loaded and chat spamming hard tonight. Perfect. That's what we need. Well,
Yes,
anyways,
absolutely.
before we get too far into talking about the Wolves and the craziness of tonight, I wanted to welcome our special guest. Cooper decided to join us from Timberwolves Daily. Gerald says, I love Timberwolves Daily in the chat.
Dude, me and him were just arguing my stream. That's awesome.
That's great. Yes. So I appreciate you coming on. And we're going to do some content for each other. So Ashwin's not here, and we got Cooper here.
Hell yeah, man. I'm happy to be here. Timberwolves Daily is my YouTube channel. You can find that, literally just search it. I go live after every game just like these guys, but it's typically before, so it works out very perfectly.
It does.
So you can find me there on Twitter at Cooper Carlson, whatever you want, but I'm just happy, So these three, we've got the Heat game, the Sixers game, and now the Jazz game. The big three are just the most exciting games this year to go over. Oh, God.
Dude,
what a disaster.
It's a disaster. The last game that we played, on Monday, I wasn't super down about it. And I think that the players probably weren't too. I think
that was the Hawks, right?
Yes, it was the Hawks. They hit so many threes. We didn't play good, but I don't think it would have mattered if we would have played good because the Hawks were just, they were hitting everything. And they have a full team of Timberwolves killers, like Danilo Gallinari. They've got like Lou Williams, and apparently Luwawe Cabarro. They got everybody that is a Timberwolf killer. And so I didn't feel that bad. I feel pretty bad today. This feels like a bad one. I guess my thoughts on this is I'm pretty low, and I'm hoping that this jumpstarts the team to come out on Friday against the Cavs, who have been playing well. But what are your thoughts on this? Are you really down on this, or are you not feeling too much about this?
I try not to flip-flop a lot because I always do, right? So the first off season coming into this year, I was like, all right, here we come, 8th seed, which is for the Wolves a championship. I was like, here we come. We're going all the way to the 8th seed, disclaimer.
Yeah.
But gotta really include that. But
yeah.
And then, 6 games in or whatever, when they lost their 6 games in a row, I was like, all right, I was wrong again. This team sucks. But then they won 5 in a row, and I was like, oh, I was wrong again. Okay, seems good. And now they've lost 4 in a row, and I'm trying not to go all the way back to, okay, I was wrong again.
Yep.
But it's hard, and I'm with you. I get it. They've lost 4 in a row. They're on a 36-win pace right now, which is, like, what'd you have them pegged at before the season? 40?
Yeah, so we did a game by game thing where we guessed every single game.
What?
Yeah. So I ended up with the team being 41-41, and I can't remember what Ashwin's was, but it was around 500. So around 500.
Okay. Yeah, I was around 500 as well. I think I ended up with 40 as my prediction, but no, this is bad. It's a bad place right now. Things aren't going as you'd want. Jayden McDaniels looks awful. Anthony Edwards is inconsistent. D'Lo is not on the floor. Malik Beasley he shot 4 of 9, but he's Malik Beasley. I don't know. Things are looking bad. It's discouraging, but also then you got to think, what were we really expecting, right? Were we expecting much more than 11-14 at this point? Is that what they are now?
Yep, they're 11-14. Yep, and half a game ahead of the Kings in the 11th seed. So,
wait, the Wolves are in the 11 now.
The Wolves are still in the 10 seed. So hey,
yes,
we can all relax, everybody. No, yeah, they are only a half a game ahead of the Kings, who just fired their coach because they lost to us. So, interesting turn of events for them, but it's so we've got some comments in chat. I'll catch up on these. The Jazz is a great team to look at and see what type of team you can create when you actually have a rim protector. True, we actually did take Gobert out of this game though somewhat. Ant disappeared. Ant had 0 fourth quarter shots apparently. Down by 1 at the half, lose by 32. Oh my gosh, that's right. I forgot about that. Man. And then people are saying that Finch should go.
Finch what? Really?
I don't think so. I don't think we can get rid of Finch right now, and I don't think there's any I know we're a quarter of the way through the season, but right now that's not going to do anything for us. Who's going to come in that's going to be better than that? I think what could happen, and maybe should happen, is some movement on the team player-wise. I don't know exactly how to do that because a lot of the players that we value as trade pieces have not performed great recently, other than I guess Malik Beasley against the Hawks, but that's like one game, you know. So, you know, like these Jayden pieces that we had talked about maybe moving in the beginning of the season for like a Ben Simmons. Jayden doesn't look good right now. And, you know, obviously he's a little bit more of a defensive player and he took a lot of shots tonight, or it felt like he took a lot of shots tonight. But, you know, it's a time in the season where I think the team has to decide whether or not they want to buy. I don't think they have to sell yet because I still think, I mean, once we have D'Lo back, I still think we're a 500 team. But, you know, it's interesting because the West is a little weaker this year. We have some chances. What are your thoughts on buying, selling, or staying the same?
Oh man, I mean, do I want Miles Turner? Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Do I
Yeah.
want Sabonis or anything? Yes, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Is it gonna? I mean, okay, then it comes back to I've seen a lot of takes like, is it worth giving up more draft capital to get this team to the 9 seed? Like, does Turner take you? I think if you're gonna add, you want to add someone that brings you to the 6 seed. If you trade away a draft pick, a first round pick, and you still end up in the play-in game, I think that's a failure because you could be done in one game or however the stupid play-in game works. You know, 1 game, 2 games,
Yep.
whatever. But anyways, it's not a 7-game series or anything like that.
Mhm.
So if you're trading away another first-round pick for a guy like, I'd love Turner, 100%. I would. That would be amazing. But and I don't think you're doing Turner for like Beasley and McDaniels. Like,
Yep.
it's not going to be just players because,
Mhm.
well, you know, why would the pay? And also, it's going to cost quite a bit because a lot of teams are going to want Miles Turner. It's not just
Yep.
the Wolves and Pacers debating this. People are going to be calling the Pacers. Like,
Yeah.
it's out there that they're trying to trade people. So, and you know, that's the only real team we know that's trying to trade people. So it's tough, but
Yes, exactly. And we're in the least, I mean, like, think of these all the teams ahead of us. We're the 10th seed. So if you look at 9th through even the Golden State Warriors, you know, like there's teams out there, like the Golden State Warriors could certainly use a Miles Turner, you know, like they have people that they could move that are interesting, you know. Now, of course, any Timberwolf pick is going to be super valuable because it's a Timberwolves pick, but at the same time, it's valuable.
Right.
So why would you want to? Do you want to risk getting rid of a draft pick or two? Like, because you're
especially
right.
after what just happened. Like, if they didn't just miss their last draft pick, this would be different for me. But they just missed out on a Kuminga in the draft base, or just take your pick. But because they went for D'Angelo Russell, and I still think that was a good trade just because of how much I dislike Andrew Wiggins. But that's a whole other conversation.
Yes.
But yeah, do you want to go through that whole draft pick trading thing again? Like, I don't know if this team can afford to, just because of the purgatory they're in with contracts and not being good, but having all these players that they're supposed to be good. It's where do they go from here? I have no idea.
I don't either. And I do think that it might still be, and I know I brought this conversation on, and I'm going to continue bringing this conversation on because I am the 2K GM. I love to do trades. I love trades. I love movement. I'm all about it. So I'm the one that's always going to be super excited about that kind of stuff. But I mean, at the same time, is it something where we could? What's happening? Oh, John Mintz trying to. John, who are you? I remember somebody used to troll us in our Twitch streams and say that Ryan Saunders was fired until he actually was. But no, this is like an interesting situation because I feel like we could do almost 3 things right now. We could try to get like a Miles Turner, but like you said, that it's going to cost more than Beasley, McDaniels, and even a first, you know? I think it's going to cost more than that not because necessarily his value, but his value is based off of what other teams are going to pay for him. And other teams are going to pay more than Beasley, McDaniels, and a pick, you know? So it's just interesting because you could go that route and try to get another big. You could also try to stay around where we are. Obviously, we're not playing well over the last few games, but I don't know if anybody in chat remembers when we started the season, I said we're probably going to have a season where we win 5 games in a row, lose 5 games in a row, and go. It's going to be like massive, like back and forth, like end times versus like finals, you know. And we've kind of reached both of the highest high and the lowest lows. I wouldn't say this is the lowest low. I think when we were 4-9, I was at my lowest. But
same.
But you know, if we come out on Friday, we can win a game, just stay around 500. I think you can maybe buy another season, or at least the rest of this season, with the current roster as constructed. Not just that one game, obviously, but like, you know, if you can prove that you can win games at a 500 pace, that's okay. That's going to be good enough to make the playoffs or the play-in this year.
If Gupta and gang in the Wolves front office think that this is a 500 roster, if they think this is a 41-41 team, then I'm all in. I'm totally cool with getting Turner Sabonis, because going from 500, adding, I don't know, what's Turner get you? 4 wins. That's 41, 45, and whatever the math is there. Like that's 6th seed. That's really good. And if I'm making a trade, I want the 6th seed. That's my stance on it. And I think that's totally fair, you know? So that's where I'm coming from. I don't know what they'll do. I mean, again, they might not do anything just because of who the hell's in charge. Like, is Gupta actually able to make those moves with how the ownership situation is? Like, we have no idea about any of that.
There were rumors that came out right when Gupta came in as the interim that he was having that authority to do like a Ben Simmons deal, but
we just haven't seen it.
Exactly, you know. And both, it looked like A-Rod and Laurie were at the game tonight, so hopefully they
probably saw this and when we're not doing anything, this team sucks.
They're like, Gupta, get on the phones. This is an interesting team, and we have to pick it up here soon, because like you said, I agree with you. I don't want to trade for somebody, really, Miles Turner or anyone, if it means, that means that we go from being the 11th or 12th seed to like the 10th seed and have one play-in game. That, like, what value is there in that? Not much. But if we're going to improve to the point where we're a lock for the playoffs, then of course I think you do that, you know, because this is a team with a lot of talent, especially when all healthy. I mean, I think we're missing D'Lo a lot right now. I don't think D'Lo being in this game makes us recoup 32 points or whatever we lost by, but you know, it's at least a game, you know, and not having a point guard. I mean, Pat Bev out there was doing great, but it's still just Pat Bev. We're not talking D'Lo level production. So
especially with who's behind him, behind Bev. You know,
I guess
J-Mac's cool, but
I'm not a big J-Mac fan, but let's do this before we get into the tier list. I'm just curious on your general idea of who you like, who you don't like out of the big three. So out of Ant, D'Lo, and Cat, what would you rate, like 1 to 3? Who's your favorite, or who do you I guess these are two separate questions. Who's your favorite and who do you think is the best?
All right, favorites. Ant number 1. It's hard not to be. Cat number 2, but I'm not at all in love with Cat, but again, he's really good. Like he's really good. Yeah. So I guess I'll go number 2, and then D'Lo 3. Like, okay, he's good, but he again will shoot 3 for 18 sometimes, and that's just like, what are we doing here?
That hurts.
Like,
it hurts.
Like we talk all about the passing and his improved defense, but then he shoots 3 of 18. And we're just kind of skipping over that part. Like, wait a minute, like he's a shooter. Remember, this is what he's supposed to be, but.
He's kind of a 500 shooter, as in like one game he's totally on and one game he's totally off.
He's like the Wolves, just completely. But as far as what was the other part? Just who do you think is in terms of winning?
Yeah, like who's the best? I guess.
Well, Cat's the best, but do I think he's the main guy? Okay, this is a loaded question.
This is loaded. I guess I would just say skill wise, just skill wise. Who do you think? Well,
skill wise, it is Cat. I think it is Cat right now.
Yep.
But I don't want skill wise to seem or make people think that's who I think is, you know, the face of this franchise for the next 5 years. I think that is Anthony Edwards. I think Carl Anthony, if this team is going to get where the Wolves want them to get, we've seen, I mean, Cat's been here for 7 years? Yep. We've seen it. If he was going to do it, he would have done it by now. And I know the roster around him has sucked. The coaches around him kind of sucked. Everything around him has sucked, but they win like 30 games a year if on a good year with Cat as the main guy.
Yep.
And eventually, and this is no guarantee whatsoever, but he needs to become that alpha, that number 1, you know, whatever word you want to use, not even like skill wise, just in terms of like just being, it's hard to put into, it doesn't show up in a box score, you know, but being the guy, the main guy, it has to be Anthony Edwards. Karl Anthony Towns needs to take that backseat secondary role, and he'd thrive there. I think if Towns was traded, Towns was traded like the Warriors or something, or, you know, name a team that has a Steph Curry-esque player, just as a guy that takes over games. Towns would thrive. But yeah, in this situation with him as the complete number 1 on an island, I don't think so. And then D'Lo, I don't know, he's cool. I like D'Lo, but he's getting paid a lot of money to just be pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I can tell we're gonna get along because of everything you just said about Towns. It seems like you've gone back and watched everything that I've said about Towns verbatim. Like,
yeah, I actually studied your film just to
yeah,
agree on everything.
Yeah. That was like exactly. I mean, it's similar to how like my dad and I went to the game tonight, and I was talking to my dad about because he was like, "Man, I'm hearing so much good things about Wiggins," and I'm like, "Yeah, you are." But one, he's getting paid max money,
right,
to be not a role player, but like a significantly less role that he had here.
Number 3.
Yeah. So, and he's going to be a 4 when Clay comes back. So, it's like, he's getting paid 30 million or 35 million or whatever it is to be somebody that, I mean, realistically,
he's in a complimentary role,
Yeah.
Like, with the Wolves, they needed him to be a number 1.5, like a number an A. Exactly. They needed Cat and Wiggins to be 1A and 1B. Like there wasn't a 2. They both had to be face of the franchise. Yeah. It's like, and that wasn't unfair to Wiggins. He was the number 1 overall pick. He was supposed to be that. It's totally not unfair. And I hate when people are like, "Oh, Wiggins, he's really good. Wolves just couldn't develop him." It's like, no. If the Wolves had Curry and everyone else, Wiggins would have been great too.
And Wiggins
doesn't want to be the number 1.
Yeah, Wiggins is a good player. There's nothing like right. I mean, like he
was supposed to be generational.
Yeah, exactly. We needed him to be like MJ for us, and he was not. I mean, we called him Maple Jordan.
Oh, I was just gonna say that.
Yep. But that to take that to Cat, exactly like you said, if Cat goes to a team that has like a clear number 1 or 2 ahead of him, and he is just like. I legitimately believe he could be, if he just played like the role of a 2 or like second or third best player on a team and shot a bunch of threes for a big man and was able to like do his driving, even though his driving's been slower this year, he would be a top 10 player in the league, no question. I think it's crazy, but I think that if he took that role, he would. But tonight we saw it many times where he's just doing his like, he's trying to do his fancy passes that we always talk about, and he's trying to do everything, and I think he has good intentions.
The stupid behind the back thing.
That is
once a game.
Yeah, that's at least once a game, maybe even like multiple times. Oh, my dog's going crazy in the background. Sorry.
But put him on the Blazers. Put him on the Suns, Mavs.
Yeah,
unbelievable. He would be unreal. But yeah, I mean, whatever. Maybe he will be in a monthly. Who knows?
Who knows? Well, I would say, just to answer the questions that I posed to you, favorite. I would say I agree with you. Ant is my favorite. Second favorite, D'Lo. Third, Towns. Skills-wise, Towns is number 1. And between D'Lo and Ant, it's interesting. I guess I'd probably go with D'Lo number 2 right now, just because he's a little bit more polished. Because Ant still has
that's totally fair.
A lot of moments where he like. I think that I agree with you wholeheartedly that Ant needs to be the face of this franchise, not Towns going forward. But Ant's just not 100% there to be able to do that yet. We see it in flashes. But we need it for like in a whole game, or at least like 3/4 of a game. Right now, it happens like maybe 2 quarters on a really good night.
Yes,
so
he has not been very good this year.
No,
I mean in terms of again, it all comes back to expectations. Like he was expected to beat Jayden Mcdaniel, to be playing really well.
Yes, exactly. But, and we have really high expectations for a 20-year-old.
Yes, I say that a lot. Like, let's all chill out a little.
We do need to remember that he's 20 and he's not like. I mean, Towns has been with us for 7 years. Ant's been us for literally only like a year and some months because of weird like COVID.
Not even 100
seasons.
games.
Yeah, it's like I just don't understand. My brain doesn't fully understand how that works, but it works out somehow.
Right.
But yeah, well, you want to get into the tier list?
I love the daily tier list.
Yes,
it's hilarious.
Let's
do it.
Your first tier list with us. Here we go. Let me pull it up here. So we actually had quite a few people that actually played tonight. So we did not have many did not plays. Yeah, we're gonna go through some of them really quickly because I can't. I don't think I can bring myself to do some of these things. Now I will say, for anybody that's new here, leave a like on the stream. I forgot to say that earlier. I was too distracted. But leave a like. If you're new, subscribe to the YouTube channel and subscribe to Timberwolves Daily. But I'm sure if you're here, you're probably subscribed to both of us. So. But if you're new here, I would appreciate that. Anyways, let's get these highlights or lowlights up here. Get those started as well. And we're gonna do the things that we do normally with Ashwin here. We've come up with a new system for the tier list, and what that is I'm going to. Well, there's a couple players that we're just not going to grade tonight because they had too little, like Jake Layman, Nathan Knight. Like, they don't deserve.
Right, give me Jake Layman.
Like, they don't really need any grading. I think
All right.
we'll put them in probably like D tier or something like that. Oops, I forgot. Got to get the highlights back up. But
yeah, quick question for you.
yes.
So, Glenn Taylor tier has Wancho, but Wancho tier has nobody.
Wancho has last
He has
year
his own tier, but he's not in it.
he was Wancho tier, and then it somehow got worse, and we're like, there has to be a lower tier than Wancho, and here we are.
And I am the biggest Wancho hater in the world, so
I was so ready for Wancho to be great for us.
God,
I was excited.
Never thought he was going to be good. I was always down on him, and I was right. Oh,
you were 100% right. I was wrong. But all right, so to quickly get some of them out of the way, we're not going to grade Nathan Knight, Jake. Well, we'll grade them, but we're going to probably put them in like a D tier just because C is like fine. Average and whatever. So Nathan Knight, Jake Layman, Okogie actually had a little bit of production in the he was only out there for 6 minutes apparently.
Really?
I felt like he was out there a lot more than that, but maybe I just feel his minutes more than others. And then Jordan McLaughlin played less than 10 minutes too. I think all of them though are probably pretty D tier. I'm gonna put actually Josh in C tonight because he
hit a couple of threes.
Yeah, he hit a couple of threes. So he gets a ceremonial C, but I think the rest of those just get a D. Not really any fault of their own. Just they didn't play much. I mean, anytime we get Jake Layman minutes, it's a special night.
Wrong. Yeah.
Or really right, but usually wrong.
Wrong for someone. Yeah.
So we'll give him a C tonight. But all right. Next up. So what I'm going to do, I didn't even describe it. So what we do, and I don't know if you've seen this, I am going to list off the player, and I'll give their stats, and then we're going to go 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to grade them together. So we have to both say our grade at the same time. That way, if it's the same, we don't really have to elaborate that much. But if it's different, and if it's a lot different, then we can obviously kind of discuss why we think Jake Layman was actually an A1 tier, not a D tier. No. But anyway, so we're going to start with Naz Reid, and anybody in chat participate as well. I know it's going to take a second to catch up, but get your grades in for Naz Reid. So Naz Reid played 13 minutes at 8 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. He was 2 of 11 shooting. Holy cow. 1 of 4 from 3. He did hit 3 of 4 free throws, and he only had 1 personal foul. So, grade for Naz Reid. Are you ready to do a 3, 2, 1?
Absolutely, I am.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
D.
Yes.
Yeah,
wow. Yeah, it was not good tonight. It was a subpar Nas night, and realistically, we need Nas to be hitting shots if he's taking 11. So
yes,
he didn't, and that's really
You're
all.
gonna go through this. So I always go through the box score on my stream, and I was going through this because someone mentioned Cat's shots, and I was like, okay, Cat shot 11, and we're gonna obviously touch on every player, but you'll be shocked at just how many players were at 9 or 10 shots. It is wild.
I am looking right now, and that is insane. We have
McDaniels took 10 shots. He made 2 of them.
We have 6 players that shot over 10 shots tonight.
And Torian took 9, so really 7 that were at 9 or 10.
Oh my
Damn,
goodness. Dude. Oh, yeah. Ashwin's here in the chat. Ashwin, I'm cheating on you.
Hey, pal. Yes.
But welcome to the chat. Welcome to your own chat, Ashwin. Hopefully Philly's treating you well. I think you're in Philly right now. I'm not 100% sure, but anyways. So yeah, that's an interesting thing to point out. I am glad you showed me that because I honestly probably wouldn't have noticed that.
I know, I was going through it. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. We'll get them all, though.
We will. So, to get through the bench players, we'll try to go quickly through these other ones, and then we'll get more into, like, Cat and D'Lo, or not D'Lo, Ant tonight. But, next up, Leandro Belmoro played 14 minutes. Was kind of surprised to see him back. I thought he got pretty hurt after the last game.
First sub off the bench still.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is.
I'm very interested in him. I know Kat gave the comparison of Sean Livingston. And here's my totally wild, unrealistic expectation that now is going to stick in my mind until he is this player. But I was watching some Manu Ginobili highlights the other day, and I was like, dude. Oh, maybe he could be a little Ginobili for us, but he will not be. So don't get excited, chat. Let me be disappointed in that. Don't you get disappointed. Anyways, let's get to his grade. We'll do a 3, 2, 1. Are you ready for his grade?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I think I'm ready too. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
D.
Yes. Okay.
Oh,
wow.
He certainly got the Sean Livingston shooting down. I'll say that much.
That's true. Yeah, it was.
His form is awful, dude. Oh my god.
It's a little scary to watch.
It's bad. Like if I can recognize bad form, it's bad. That's what I'm gonna say. Like
yeah.
I'm not like some big time analyst here. Like, if I'm watching him shoot and I'm going, yeah, like that's terrible. It's gotta be real bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. His legs are like going 3 different ways.
Yeah,
his
legs and his arms are all like, and it's not like he's nervous, but they're like moving in different directions. It's really, it's his own for sure. It's it's definitely his own look.
It's definitely his own.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, he needed to be making some shots. Not that he took a bunch tonight, but I will still say his defense and rebounding effort still surprised me. I wasn't necessarily expecting that from him. And to see him come out there, and I mean, he's still like last game he got turned around by Trae Young, and
he
almost
did today too.
Yeah, he did get turned around today. And you know, there's times when he stays in front of defenders decently, but there's times where he does that maneuver where he thinks, "Oh yeah, I should go around the whole way and try to go back."
Yeah.
So he's still pretty raw, but I mean, rough night for him overall.
Right.
So
yeah, maybe we're being unfair to him because again, it's his 4th, 5th game in the league as like a big guy, but we're grading him based on how they played today, and he was not good.
Exactly.
And I'll just say, like, if you want to be a playoff team like the Wolves do, and your first sub off the bench is Leandro Belmoro, something is wrong. Like, sure, it's rotational. He's not terrible. Like I don't think he's like NBA caliber exactly, not 6th man or anything like that, but he can play some minutes. It's kind of discouraging games like this. He only played 14, so Finch did get him out of there when he just wasn't looking great, but he's not ready. He's not ready to be a 20-minute a night guy or anything, and
not yet.
It's unfair to think of him as that. Maybe next year, but yeah, it's not happening yet.
Too raw, but anyways, absolutely. maybe next year on Belmoro, or maybe next game. No. All right. Well, we got
a lot of development.
A lot of development by Friday. Next player up is Jayden McDaniel. So he had some significant minutes tonight. He had 23 minutes off the bench, had 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, was 2 of 10 shooting, so he was one of those 10-point shooters. Chat, get your grades in for Jayden. He was 1 of 7 from 3. Wow, 7 of those were threes. That's insane. I do not like that at all. He only had 1 personal foul tonight, and actually his defense was a lot better tonight than it has been previously. I saw him using techniques to not foul at times that I had not previously seen, and it was better, but still a Jayden performance. So anyways, I think I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. D. What'd you say?
Oh, D.
Yeah, okay.
We're really filling up D.
Yeah, we're gonna run out of screen real estate here soon. Hopefully it doesn't stay like that.
We are allowed to grade players in Wancho and Taylor, right? Like we
definitely. Wancho, so
the defense was redeeming. I almost went there, but the defense was redeeming.
I 100% agree, which is why I should not put him in the front of D. But Wancho tier is like a really, really bad night. Like there was nothing you did on the court that was like worth doing. Like Wancho. And then Glenn Taylor is like, you actively took away from the team and did nothing redeemable for yourself.
It's like the meme of it's like, I don't know who it was, but the player, he was like 24 minutes and 0 on every stat line. You know what I'm talking about?
It's like that could be a Wancho performance. But if you do things like turn like 10 turnovers or something insane, like then we're talking like Glenn Taylor. So that's reserved, and A1 is reserved for like you'll never forget that performance. Points. Yeah, like it is like all-time game, like Derrick Rose game, Ant's like crazy dunk game. I think the game against Miami was an A1 game, but
Torian Prince first quarter from tonight was an A1 game.
Exactly. Yeah, you get it. So all right, yeah, Jayden was a D. So, all right. Next up, Malik Beasley, last of the bench players. He had 26 minutes, 14 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 of 12 shooting, 4 of 9 from 3. He's our RB savior for the night. 3 personal fouls, 3 turnovers, and a team low -29.
Oh God, I hate plus minus, but yeah.
Sometimes it's revealing.
Yes,
this could be a case of that.
Absolutely.
but kind of interesting. So, um, okay, somebody already gave their their Beasley grade. So, are you ready for a
I was
Beasley
born
grade?
ready for this. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I am. Okay, I guess I'll be ready. 3, 2, 1. C.
C.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! Look at
You think
us.
we're gonna nail every single one? That would
Yeah,
be crazy.
that would be
Have
crazy.
you two ever done that? You and Ashwin?
No, we've never had this. I mean, we've been close, and then like had some that were just like barely off, and
Okay.
but no, that's good. I agree. I think my reasoning for C is like he's making threes out there, and he's taking a lot of shots, so he better be making some. But I think from Beasley, the things that I want to see better to get him out of C tier and into like a B tier is obviously efficiency, but mainly I just don't want him creating his own shot because I don't think he can create his own shot. He does this weird like herky jerky like he tries to go back and forth and then he
Oh
just
my
takes
God,
it,
dude. Yes.
and it's like that's not working. And the only time it works is when it's purely in rhythm. Similar, I've used this analogy, but like similar to like how the Golden State Warriors use Clay, where Clay is just running around, you hit him, he never dribbles, he just shoots. He gets to his spot and shoots. Even if it's contested, he just shoots. And that's more what I want from Beasley. And we got a lot of that tonight, but he did a couple of the times where he's like trying to create his own, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, bees. Every time I talk about them, it's like you gotta shoot lights out because you have no other redeeming qualities. Beasley, like if you're having a bad shooting night, you're having an awful night all around. Sure, his defense is better, but the bar was, me.
Very
I
low.
was,
Yeah.
like I could have played better defense than last year,
Yes.
and so that was the bar. So he's just doing better than that now. His passing is, I don't know, he passes the ball like an NBA player. Cool, but yeah, if he doesn't shoot well, it's a terrible night for Beasley. And tonight he shot 5 of 12, 4 of 9 from 3. The 4 of 9 from 3 is great, so C because he doesn't do anything else well. So good job, Beats. That's what you get.
That's exactly right. All right, we've made it through the bench players, and we are on to the starters. So, all right, and if you're new here, leave a like on the stream, but that's all I'll say. I won't go into further ads. And then go follow Timberwolves Daily on YouTube. And sorry if you can hear my dog going crazy in the background. He's moaning.
Nice.
He hates the tier list. But all right. Well, we're going to start with the least amount of minutes, and that was Taurean Prince tonight, who had an A1 first quarter. But 20 minutes exactly, 20 minutes and 0 seconds. 9 points. Yeah. 9 points, 5 rebounds, assists. He was 3 of 9 shooting, 3 of 6 from 3, so all of his shots were from 3. And he only had 1 foul, only 1 turnover. So there's Taurean Prince's numbers. All right, you ready to 3, 2, 1?
Ooh, give me like 2 more seconds. Let me look again.
Yeah.
I am ready now. Yeah.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
C.
I didn't even say anything. I changed my mind before.
I heard you had D, and
I was actually gonna say B, and then I was like, wait a second. He disappeared completely.
Yeah, he had 1 good quarter.
Yeah, he had 1 good quarter.
Went D. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I'm coming more to like realize his defense and his offense abilities, but we only really saw that for a little bit. So I was gonna go from B, and then I almost said C, and then I said nothing. So I'll say C.
All right, yeah.
And it keeps our streak going.
We're rigging the system here.
Yes,
he was waiting for me to say.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for you to say it every time.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I think C. I mean, Taurean. I am warming up to him. The idea of him on the team. At first, in the beginning of the season, man, I was like, oh my gosh, I'd rather have Rubio on the team. But
he completely poisoned my view of him. Like I can't get over how bad he was.
He was really
bad.
hard. And somebody was saying, I think. It was from the C&D show, actually, and Zone Coverage. They were just saying, they just put out an article today about how they're like, I'm probably going to get canceled for this from Timberwolves Twitter, but Taurean Prince needs more minutes. And it was basically something to the effect of like, oh, Taurean Prince needs more run to like really like get into the Timberwolves offense. And there's moments where I see that, and there's moments where I don't. So I would say the beginning of the season, like you said, was just so bad that I lost all faith in him, but I still think it's possible for him to
Yeah, and it's not like he's 20 years old though. Like he should be able to figure this out without, the Wolves having to throw terrible Torian out there. Like he needs to just figure it out, Like we
This
don't
is
need
true.
to be playing the worst player in the league. Like he's, I don't know, 7-year veteran or something. Just
He
figure it
should
out, man.
he should definitely have figured it out by now. But
Yeah.
I think C is fair for him, and I like seeing some 3-point shots going for him tonight, and
Yeah, for sure.
they've been going in more for him. So hopefully we see more. I want to see more Torian Prince threes than I want to see Jayden McDaniel's threes in the game, and we did not see that tonight.
He just looks. I'd never have confidence in a Jayden McDaniel's three.
I don't have
ever.
confidence in him when he has the ball in his hands,
Oh my
unless
God,
he's
dude.
blocking a shot.
Yeah.
That is the only time in
100%.
which I feel happy. But yeah. So, anyways, Torian C, and then next we're gonna go to Vando next. Super odd stat line from Vando. 26 minutes, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 3 steals. Only 2 of 4 shooting. I mean, I always say shooting and use quotations because we know he's not shooting. And he only had 2 personal fouls. A weird kind of non-night for Vanderbilt. I swear, I remember each one of those 4 rebounds apparently because it's like they were good rebounds. All of his rebounds are always like incredible, where he just comes flying out of nowhere to get it. And he's always the effort player. And I think it was a little bit more last season. We had such an issue grading Jayden every night because Jayden just doesn't show up on the stat sheet.
Sure.
And I mean, tonight he did in a bad way. But like, last season it would be like, oh, Jayden had 2 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and he was 1 of 2 shooting or something like that. It's like, oh my gosh, how do I grade effort? But that's what it felt like a little bit more from Vando, because like I still feel like Vando was like one of our better players out there weirdly tonight. But at the same time, he obviously was not there for the rebounding. Overall, the team though was not there for rebounding. I mean,
Sure.
The Towns
second
had
half
7.
was god awful.
Yeah. So, and that was the lead. So, and yeah, the second half was awful. So, anyways, I guess we haven't graded him yet. So we'll do a grade. Are you ready for a grade?
Yeah, this is gonna be a tough one, but let's do it.
I think it's gonna be tough too. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
C.
D. Oh, we're different. So
I mean, it's just such a mediocre night. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what else. I mean, sure, more rebounds, I guess. Maybe you're right, but I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna go like C minus. It's just.
Yeah, and
like,
I'd probably
I'd
go D plus. I'd go D plus just because I like I said, I think he was one of the better players out there just effort wise. Right. But I also think
it's like the ball just didn't bounce to him off the rim or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that I do kind of if I was going to give him the benefit of that, which I do because it's Vando, but I think that is somewhat true tonight. And I still think his defense is there. That never changes. His effort's always there. But if I'm going off of what do I expect from Vanderbilt tonight, I probably expect a little bit more. And usually if we got, this is also kind of a rule that we have, if they do what we expect them to do, we give them a C. That's kind of like the middle ground. So I guess it was just a little bit less. So that's why I'd probably go like D plus. But
you've convinced. I'm not going to switch, but you kind of convinced me. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I think, man, honestly, no, we could. Now I'm going back and forth. I think I'm gonna
put him in D. Put him in D.
We'll do D, but D plus.
Sure.
But if somebody else comes up as a D, we're gonna go off the screen. So I'm gonna move him up to a C.
Okay. Yeah. Totally. Whatever. I mean,
of course, this matters so much. The players come on after and watch this. Actually, so in chat, interesting. Gerald Becker says B for Vando. Jake Erickson says C for Vando. Interesting. Okay, so I'm sour on him tonight.
I'm also biased because Vando, if you made me list my favorite players earlier, Vando takes the cake. He's number 1.
I just got a Vando jersey from DH Gate.
That place is great though.
That is a great place. It was like $20 or something.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see in like 3 years what it looks like.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what that looks like. Anyways, but yeah, I think we'll keep him at D for now. If somebody else is D, we're moving him up to C because I love my boy Vando. And that, I mean, he's part of the reason we're named Built from day one. It's Vanderbilt from A1 from day one.
I would have never figured that out.
Yeah, no, but I mean, the show name is really weird, but we're just keeping it at this point.
It's a long one.
But
sure.
All right. Well, we're on to now the top 3 players tonight. So,
yeah.
Let's go with one moment. What does he need? Oh, okay. He can play. Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, my dog's whining in the background, everyone. But let's do Patrick Beverly first. Okay, maybe the squeaking was wrong. Whatever. He's gonna play with a squeaky toy in the background, so I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Has he had his thing? Okay. All right. Sorry. Dog parenting happening in the middle of the podcast. All right. Anyways, Patrick Beverly. He played only 22 minutes. I wish there was more.
Minute limit, I'd assume, right?
Probably.
Coming off an injury.
It's got to be. But right. 16 points in those 22 minutes. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 of 11 shooting, and really 8 of 11 on floaters. Apparently he did take 2 3-point shots.
Yeah, so 8 of 9 from floaters, I'd say.
That's true. It probably
Unless
is.
the threes were floaters too, just checking it out.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was. But 2 personal fouls. I think I am ready for a Pat Bev grade.
Yeah, me too.
All right, 3, 2, 1, B.
A.
Ooh, okay. I think I could maybe be convinced up into an A just because this was such a good offensive night from Beverly.
Yeah.
And, his energy kept us in it the first half for 3 quarters. But, Pat Bev isn't going to win you the game. Also, absolutely insane technical on him when he was just, what did he say? I was at the game.
He said, I'm floating on you all day or something to Rudy.
How is that a technical?
Right,
How is that a technical?
Ref was like, you were talking crap. He's like, I've been talking for 10 years. What do you mean?
Also, that is such a mild thing to say to somebody. That is very normal.
Yeah.
But
and then, Gobert started throwing ice cubes at all the Wolves players, spilling water on the floor.
That was ridiculous. I forgot to talk about that. How is that not at a minimum a delay of game?
Honestly, dude, that was wild.
It's got to be a delay of game, a tech, or something like that. Almost seems like it could warrant being thrown out of the game because you're throwing something onto the court. It's just crazy. But anyways, but yeah. So I think you could convince me into an A tonight, and I think I have been convinced because I
didn't say anything.
You didn't say anything. I talked myself into it. But yeah, no, he was. He was the heart of the game tonight, and
for sure
kept us in it. So I think A does make sense. I was being sour on the loss, I guess, but
yeah, I get it.
All right,
I was gonna say well, if Pat Bev doesn't play, they lose by 30, but they lost by 32 anyway, so it's
we'll lose by 60.
Right.
Probably, honestly. All right. Well, next up, we've got the 2 top players of the team, possibly. So let's do Towns last. So we'll do Anthony Edwards first. Ant played 33 minutes tonight, 18 points. I chose the under on him tonight, so there we go. Got that.
Nice.
But he was 7 of 16 shooting, 4 of 8 from 3. Only had 3 personal fouls. And overall, Ant's game tonight was very similar to a lot of games where he takes over certain moments and then is absolutely absent for others. But yeah, let's get into it. So, are you ready for a grade on Ant?
Yes.
Okay. I think I am too. 3, 2, 1, B.
C. Okay.
All right.
I'm going off your what do I this is the most average game for Anthony Edwards of all time, I think.
That's true. Actually, that's true. Man, you should be the host. I agree. I think that makes sense because I think there was I don't know why I said B now that I think about it.
I almost went B, to be fair.
I think I don't know why. I'm very biased towards him because I like him.
Sure. Me with Vando.
Yeah. Except Vando, every game pretty much produces his effort,
Yeah.
Ant just struggles with effort still to this day. And, effort comes in spurts, We see it in the very beginning of the game. We see it in the third quarter a lot of times. And, I like to see his 3-point shooting be 4 of 8 because obviously that's what's going to dictate how he's able to drive going forward. But he's still figuring out a lot of the game, and as much as I think he is the future of this team, it is evident that he is 20 and that he needs a lot more game time to learn a lot more things. And I just hope that we can surround him with players that get him to the spot that he needs to be.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And it just kind of brings up the question, how do you build it around these 2, Cat and Ant? Because, it doesn't exactly fit in terms of timelines because, if you want Ant to be the number 1, be ready for a couple of lottery seasons here, probably. Like maybe play-in, but if you make the play-in, you're still a lottery team if you lose. So
Yep, that's true.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna take time, and we've been waiting 2 decades. Like,
Yeah, I think this is such a tricky moment, and this isn't even
yeah,
based on any player, but I mean, as a team, as a fan base, I mean, you almost at this point you cannot blame the fans for not showing up to games, for them to have to
right.
beg to give free Arby's tickets, now $1 tickets to people to come to a game. Like, it's desperation mode, and they just still, like, I mean, there's people at the games, but it's not full by any means, and
No,
like even tonight, like it was one of the fuller probably nights of the season, and it's still,
and they lost by 30.
and we lost by 30. So like, you're losing at this point you've lost generations of fans, because I mean, we haven't been good. I mean, you could say the one Butler year, but like that wasn't really even
Screw that year, man.
Yeah. And then like, other than like the KG years, which I mean, that's forever ago, I was like a baby.
I was almost walking those days. Yeah.
So that doesn't even count. So for like us, especially like people our age, which I guess we're quite different in age,
Right.
but still like 20s, 30s, somewhere in that range, people have gone like their entire lives without seeing a successful team.
I've never seen a successful Timberwolves team. Never in my life.
You've...
Well, okay, screw 17, 18. Like,
yeah. Other than that, you have not. So,
and I have a YouTube channel. I don't know what kind of insane person I am, but like, oh, it'll turn around soon. Woo! But oh my god, dude, it's insane.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
It's crazy, and as bad as it gets, I don't think I'll ever leave, but I will always be here to vent and be sad. So, but yeah. Anyways, I agree. This was a very average night.
Yeah, going C.
Yeah, I'm going C. Yep. Unfortunately, it just makes sense, but we'll see him up again sometime later this season. But all right, we're on to the final player of the tier list tonight, and that is none other than Karl Anthony behind the back Towns. 34 minutes, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. He did have a block. He was 7 of 11 shooting, only 11 shots tonight, which is insane to me. 2 of 4 from 3, 6 of 8 from the line, so he actually did get to the line tonight, but every time he gets to the line, boy, does he have to roll around on the ground like insane. So 4 turnovers, 3 personal fouls, so not so bad. And one thing to note about Towns' game tonight, I mean, the first half, he was like non-existent. He had
2 shots.
Yeah, he had 2 shots. I think he had 3 or 4 points after the first half or something. I don't know. It was weird. There was like nothing. But yeah,
4 points.
Just not good. So, but then he came a little bit more alive in the second half, but not nearly enough. So, anyways, I'm talking too much. We got to get to the grading. So, grading for Towns tonight. I'm thinking, we have to be in sync for the last one, of course.
I got my grade. I'm ready.
You got your grade. I think I've got mine too. All right, 3, 2, 1. C.
B.
Oh, we're different. Okay, so
Okay.
the reason for C.
Yeah.
I say C because the same reason you said Anthony Edwards was a C. This was kind of a game that I expect from Towns, both the good and the bad. I expect him to get around the point production that he did. I think the first half, him not having many shot attempts, which is also kind of a Finch-related issue. It's super strange to see your best player on your team only have 11 shots, especially when that player is shooting like 50% from the field this year, 40% from 3. It's like, we have to be getting him lots of shots. And instead we're playing him as a post player right now, which is not necessarily his like strongest suit. So that's my reasoning behind it. I think this was just kind of an average game from him. We saw the points, we saw the not really that many rebounds. We saw the turnovers that we expect. We saw that crazy, we're down by like 15. He does like a behind the back pass to nobody. I think there's good and bad, and I think that all averages out for me to be a C.
Sure. Okay. No, I don't disagree with that at all. For me, I didn't have a problem with his. I know he only took 2 shots in the first half, but watching him, it's not like he was getting chances to go drive or shoot. Everyone else was actually playing well in the first half, and it was opening opportunities. They were down by 1 at the half. I was like, all right, 2 shots doesn't matter that much to me. It's okay. He'll be better in the second half. And in the second half, I was really impressed. He was getting to the rim a lot. Of course, 7 of 11 total. I thought he played really well. The far away three he made, which was really good.
Yeah.
Take 8 of those a game.
Yeah.
Why don't you shoot the 3 more?
I
What
agree.
are we doing? Like, you can't get you had 2 shots in the first and 11 total compared to the 11 from Beverly, the 12 from Beasley, the 11 from Nas, the 10 from McDaniels. Get behind the arc and shoot. Like, you can make it more than anyone else on this team. And you took 4 of them. Like, I know it's not entirely his game. He's a center, but nobody on the team is better than him at it. Just get out there, find a way, figure it out. But I know I gave him a B and I'm just ripping on him here. But again, he did score 22, 11 shots. And, I don't know. I thought he played well, held Gobert in check for the most part, was coming off a tailbone injury. So I guess I gave him a bit of a benefit of the doubt there. I'm sticking with B minus, whatever.
Yeah, and
you
funny
can put
enough,
wherever you want.
Yeah, funny enough. Well, I do have the power.
Yes.
Funny enough, chat is in wild disagreement with both of us right now.
What are they going?
They're going D for Towns tonight.
What?
Now, to some point, I can kind of understand that because honestly, coming into the night, I was expecting a big Towns night because when Towns goes up against some of these more like kind of the other centers that are around his age and around his skill level, obviously Gobert is much more on the defensive side, but
right.
He can take on those players. He can take on Gobert, he can take on Embiid, he can take on Jokic, and he usually thrives against them. So I was expecting kind of a huge game from Cat. Not to mention he is the best player on the court, so he does need to be doing more. So I think that's fair. I also have so many gripes about Towns, and everybody here knows that. But like the behind the back passes, the over the head passes, the one thing that is becoming my least favorite thing about Towns right now is not the complaining about fouls, but the way that he tries to draw fouls. He goes up and it looks like he's getting hammered, and then you see the replay and it's like the defensive player is literally just standing with their hands up like this, and he's like wiggling all around.
Oh my god!
It looks like he's getting murdered, but he's actually not even touched sometimes. And he did that multiple times tonight, which is really frustrating. But
that's why he doesn't get calls. It's like you can't just think you get fouled on every play,
exactly,
and then argue with the refs on every defensive play. Which my favorite are like the screaming towards the bench about a foul call. And okay, now we're just ranting, but on defense, and then they'll show the replay, and Jim Peterson will be like, "Well, wait a minute, you whacked him in the arm. Like, what are we doing here, Towns?"
Yeah,
it's wild, and that's nightly, but he's really good. Like, I guess I'm good. I'm good on C.
I think to average out everyone. Yeah. So Godfrey just said in the chat, he said 11 shots is pretty weak. It is, and that's been all season. I don't think
that's entirely his fault, though.
Exactly.
I think he can get to the rim better, but he's being guarded by small Bogdanovic. That's his name, right? Yeah. And then, so he's being guarded by that guy. He gets the ball and is immediately doubled by Rudy Gobert. Towns would like to kick it out to a shooter, but his shooters tonight shot about 1% from 3. So that's not really an option. Like, he's getting no shots because nobody else can hit shots. So the defense could just, I don't know, they can relax because they can't relax on Towns. They go all in on Towns because he's the literal only guy that was hitting shots consistently tonight. Like, okay, Pat Bev, I know, but like it's hard to look at Towns and be like, man, what an underwhelming game. And then everyone else was just a disaster. And I know Towns is really expected to do the most, a ton, but he was one of 2 guys in this game that I thought had a productive night.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, the only argument that I'll say to that is that you're right. Tonight, I think it's not fair to say this, what I'm about to say, but I think he does kind of have this illusion to him where he gets the stats. He shoots really well, but how much is he actually contributing to winning on the team?
He's Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, that is a weird comparison, but maybe accurate,
And I hate Kirk Cousins, which is weird that I'm a Towns guy.
Yeah, like Kirk Cousins, he goes out there. He's got like one of the higher passer ratings of all the quarterbacks, but
he can't win a game.
It's not.
He lost to the Lions.
He lost to the Lions. And that's kind of just a Minnesota thing. We had Kevin Love who's putting up like 20-20 nights, 30-30 nights, but it's like, how much winning did we really do to like Love? How much did that happen? And I think that's the thing that a lot of fans are right now, and not necessarily people in chat, because I know everybody's pretty unhappy with Towns tonight. But in general, I think if you go into like the Timberwolves subreddit or you're just on Twitter, a lot of people stand up for Towns, and it's not wrong to stand up for the player that you like or think that is like the best. But I think it's also you have to have a realization that Towns maybe isn't the savior that you thought. Like you said earlier, it's been 7 years. We've had plenty of time for him to be the savior, and that's not happening.
Yeah, and it all comes back to me for expectations. When I'm looking at a player like with Cat, I was very critical at the beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. Tonight I'm just not. Get me on in 2 nights. Maybe I will be really, but like I don't know. But it's like he was number 1 overall pick. He's on a max contract. He's being looked at as the guy. If he's putting up production as what he would look like if he's what he would look like as a secondary player somewhere else, if that's what he's being here, that's just not good enough. And maybe that's unfair, but that's what the Wolves need him to be. So he just isn't consistently,
I agree wholeheartedly. But and Godfrey says, Cat is a max player, Wolves' most tenured veteran. Why is he taking the same amount of shots as Nas? Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think, though...
Like, they do have to find more shots for him, and he can get to the rim more himself.
They do. There's a lot of things, and this is why we could do an entire episode on just Towns. So we won't go into, like, the craziness of that, because I want to wrap it up in not too long. But, like, Towns, he does need to be taking more shots, and if it means that he has to take logo threes, I'm honestly kind of for that, because I think he can make those. He did tonight. I want more of that. That's one element of it. The other element is, I mean, Finch's offense is more just like flow was what they keep saying. So there's not really like plays necessarily being drawn, but there needs to be a way for Towns to get more shots. And then 3, players around him, when Towns get the ball, they just don't move. Beasley's really the only player that moves on offense when he doesn't have the ball. The others kind of just stay around the 3-point line and just wait for the ball to come to them and then do like ISO game, which we are not that good at. So, it's a struggle, but I don't necessarily put the blame so much on Towns tonight. I am not a huge Cat fan at this point in time. I believe that he is the most skilled player on our team, but I also think that he is the biggest detriment to our team at times. So
yes,
you
see what Pat Bev said?
No, after the game.
Yeah,
no,
it's a long quote, but I'll sum it up. Basically asked about Utah's game plan guarding Cats, and he said it's a great game plan by the coach and his staff, but if I'm defensive player of the year, I'm always guarding best player no matter what. So I'm not roaming. And he was like, they put Gobert on Vanderbilt. That's no defensive player of the year. If he's defensive player of the year, you put him on Cat. Whatever.
Yeah.
just taking shots at him.
Interesting. Yeah, right. Still, even after the game.
Right. It lost by 32. Hey, whatever. That's fun. I like Pat Bev. Whatever. That's funny. He's gonna get shit on by all of NBA Twitter, but whatever.
Yes, he is.
Whatever.
I know that's the thing. Being in Minnesota, you're gonna get treated differently. You can't. I mean, I appreciate that he's still talking shit, but it's like, I mean, people view Minnesota and Minnesota fans and Minnesota players as very different. So, I mean, I hope he keeps doing it, and I hope that the talk gets backed up by us making it to a play-in game or the playoffs. But if we don't, man, it's just forever tundra here. It's just sadness. So
whatever. Yeah,
well, those are the thoughts that I had on the game. We've gone over an hour. I didn't say that it was going to be a short show, so I guess it's fine that we go over an hour, but that's pretty much all I had for tonight. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No. This game was certainly something.
I am ready for Friday. I actually am kind of excited for Friday just because it's the Cavs and it's going to be Ricky Rubio and Kevin Love versus the Timberwolves.
Oh, God.
Crazy. I hope we win. Man, we better win.
Is it in Cleveland? Do you know?
It's here. So, Minnesota.
You going?
I am going. Yeah, I got that full court pass thing. It's like $20 a seat $20 a month for season tickets, basically, for Upper Deck season tickets. Pretty insane. So I keep telling everybody about it, and I'm going to all the games because of it. And then if better seats come out via the Arby's ticket deals, I'll do that like I did tonight. So anyways, well, it was great to have you on the show. I appreciate you coming on. And everybody, you got to go subscribe to Timberwolves Daily because we're going to be doing some stuff over on Timberwolves Daily's show. So we're going to keep an eye out for that in the next week or so. I guess I don't know when it's coming out, but
we'll figure it out.
There will be stuff. Obviously, you'll hear about it on Twitter from both of us. So, but yeah. as is tradition here, we're going to play the intro as the outro. We will see you on Friday night after the game. And, of course, just another Timberwolves win. All right. It was great to see you all in chat again. Great to see you in person or Zoom, whatever we're in. Cooper.
Right. Yeah, you too.
I'm sure we'll be seeing more of each other in the future.
Absolutely. Hope so.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. See you Friday.